Oh, hey guys. Hey, how are you? Oh, you want my help lifting something? Not a problem. I could lift anything. Shall I move your house? Hey Joe, can you cut my hair? It's getting really long. Oh, hold on. I can't do that. Hey guys, what are we celebrating? Someone handed me a glass of juice. Oh, this is wine. Who gave me this? So you've probably guessed it by now. It's Samson. And as we've been looking at Samson over the last few weeks, you would have noticed these traits, these characteristics of him, such as the fact that he was really strong and that he was a Nazarite, which meant he kept certain promises to God, that he wouldn't drink any alcohol and he wouldn't cut his hair. So you would have picked up on those, I hope. And we're going to continue to look at the rest of the story today. From last week, you'll know the story of Samson and Delilah. Delilah found out the secret of Samson's strength. It was his hair. The Philistines and Delilah tricked him and they cut off his hair so he was no longer strong. They then blinded him and captured him as well. We're going to look at the next part of the story in the Bible, and I want you to follow along with me. So I need you to get a pen and a piece of paper and we'll do the story together. So what I'd like you to do is to draw 6 boxes on your piece of paper. That's a bit small. So go ahead and draw 6 boxes. And then at the top, when you've done that, you're going to write Samson, Samson 3, because this is part 3 of the story. And this section is from the book of Judges. And it's Judges chapter 16, verse 23 to 31. So I'll let you do that. So once you've written Samson 3 and Judges 16, 23 verse 31, and then I'm going to talk you through the story. And in each box you can copy what I do, or you can draw your own version of that picture, and you can kind of come up with something else that you think relates to the story, and you can draw that in your storyboard. So here goes. So the Philistines had captured him and made him blind. They took Samson to the city of Gaza and made him work very hard in a mill where he was grinding grain. Now at this point, Samson is really sad. And he's actually been made blind, hasn't he? His hair is quite short, but it has started to grow again. So you draw in your box how you think Samson would have looked. Samson probably remembered how things were last time he was in Gaza. Back then he had been strong. He had pulled down the heavy city gates of Gaza and carried them to the top of a hill. Now the people of Gaza only laughed at him. They watched him work and made fun of him. Now Samson could not brag about his strength. He worked hard, and as time passed his hair grew longer and longer. The Philistines did not believe in the Lord. They worshipped a false god named Dagon. So in your second box, you can write Dagon, and you could put a cross through it, or you could draw some red on it. So they worshipped a false god called Dagon. One day, the Philistines decided to have a big party and give praise to their god Dagon. They wanted to celebrate and show everyone how Dagon was stronger than Samson. They put Samson in front of the people at the temple. 3,000 Philistines were there that day. They all laughed and made fun of him. They laughed because Samson used to be strong, and now he was blind and had led had to be led everywhere by someone else. Finally, when the people had stopped watching Samson for a while, Samson asked a servant to lead him to a place where 2 strong pillars were. So here you can see I've drawn 2 strong pillars, and I've drawn Samson here, and he's been taken to a place where the pillars are. He's been asked to be taken there by a servant. And these pillars held up a roof of a temple. So you could add a roof, or you could add some people in the crowd watching Samson. Samson asked the servant to help him put his hands on the pillars. His hair had grown long again, and he knew he was stronger than he used to be. A long time ago, Samson probably would have just gone ahead and pushed the pillars down. That's because he used to think that he was strong and better than anyone else, but now it was different. Samson knew that he could only be strong if God helped him. He knew that he needed to pray to God for strength. So here, I want you to think about what you could draw to represent prayer. Maybe you could write the word pray or prayer, or you could draw some hands praying, or you could maybe draw what you do when you pray. I'm going to draw some hands. Praying. Sometimes we put our hands together when we pray. After Samson prayed to God, he pushed on the pillars and knocked them down. So, in the next box, I want you to draw what you think would have happened. I think it would have been pretty chaotic. So, all this mess, all the pillars falling down. So you draw in that box what you think it would have looked like. When the pillars began to fall, the roof fell down and killed everybody inside the building, even Samson. Samson killed many more Philistines that day than he had ever killed before. Now everyone knew that Samson was strong because of the Lord. But he was strong not just in his body, but strong in his heart. Because he'd learned humility, he'd learned that God was in control and God is going to give him strength and humility. Which means to recognise that you aren't as strong and that you aren't as big or as important as you thought you were. And that's what we mean when we say humility, or if we're humble, and we can humble ourselves before God.